We could also have done it within Power Query. So I'm just going to go into the Power Query so that we can see how that would have been done within Power Query. So if I go into my transform column, transform data, sorry, and I click on that, it takes us to Power Query. And we know that Power Query is like the workshop, so to say. It's like the workshop where you can do all the data cleaning and all the other manipulations within Power BI. So it opens as a second page. This is our original one, the one we just saw initially. And when I came into the transform data, now it's opened up the Power Query for us. This is the Power Query. Okay. And now, how do we bring cost, from, let me just refresh all so that all these refresh, yellow refreshes. Sorry. Right. So we've got cost within this products table. This is it here, and we need it to actually come into our sales data table, which is this one. And why we need that is because we would need to calculate total cost. We don't have the total cost. So how we have quantity here, some products had one quantity or more than one actually quantity of that were ordered. Okay, so that's why we need to be able to calculate the actual cost so that we can work out our profit properly. Okay, so I'm going to use merge queries. So whilst I'm still here, I want to merge queries, and I want to merge with the products from the products table. Okay, so I'll choose the products table, and it's asking me to select the matching columns. Okay, right now I'm just going to go for product ID because that's the only common the common column between them, and that's the reason why this merge can take place. And I'm using the left outer join because I want everything from the first. It regards or recognizes the sales data, the first table as the one on the left and the second table as the one on the right. So I want everything here to be brought in, and only the matching ones from the second table to be brought in from here. That's why I'm using the matching. Oh, what's that? Okay, let's do that again. I've just canceled what I was doing. Okay, so products table, product ID. And it's, if we look down here, it says the selection matches that many. So it's found all of the rows that need to be found. It's found all of them. So, and I'm going to just okay that. And it's brought the whole table in. It's also added that extra step, merged queries, okay? And we can see this icon here that we need to use to expand the table. So it's from here that we are going to choose what we need, as many of the columns here that we want to bring into this sales data. That's what we will bring in. So I'm going to unselect all because we're not bringing everything in. And we only agreed on the cost. We said we don't need the taxes. So cost is the only one I'm bringing. If we needed a product name, say we just want to know what the product's name is, because on this sales data, we only have product ID. We don't know the actual product name. We can actually bring that in as well, okay? But we can always come back to do that if need be. For now, we'll just go with the cost. And I'm going to uncheck this. This is just for prefix. Okay, it says use original column name as prefix. I don't want any prefix. I don't want any prefix in my column header. And it would have been something like products dot cost. I don't want that. I just want cost. Okay. So I'm going to uncheck this. Please mute if you are not talking, and I will okay that. And we can see the cost has been brought in. Okay. So this way we can calculate what we did yesterday with calculated column again. We did total cost. Okay. So we can decide to multiply quantity. So I'm clicking on quantity now. Let's also be aware that we need to be sure that we have the right data type. Quantity is in numbers. So we have the numbers chosen already. That's fine, whole number. And our cost is in currency. And that's why we have that. If that was not correct, we could always have chosen the right one around here. Okay, so I'm just going to click on quantity, press down Control and click on that because I want to multiply the two columns. And under add column, I'm just going to do standard multiply now. Again, if I wanted to add both, I would have gone for add. So standard arithmetic, basically, we can find there. And we're saying add column because it's going to create that in an extra, in an additional column. It's going to add a column on top for the answers that it's going to bring. Okay. So if you wanted to divide, multiply, all of these are here basically. It's not just the multiply, but we need the multiply right now. So I'm going to click on multiply and we can see that extra column has been added. It's gone on to call it multiplication, okay? But we know it's not gonna, multiplication is not going to be the name of it, okay? But I mean, we can check. 1 multiplied by 72, there we have it, that's 72. And 2 multiplied by the 1,367 gives that, and on and on and on like that. So it's always good to double check. Nothing wrong in getting a calculator just to be sure. Check a few ones, a few rows that you've done the right thing. Now we'll just rename these as cost total. And that's just me. You can rename it whatever suits you, as long as you would understand, or whoever is looking at this would understand what you meant. Okay, so I just double clicked there and I typed the name that I wanted. If we didn't want to change the name that way, so we could have, done it within this formula bar, within the M query, M language, okay? So I'm going to undo that, remove that step, and see how possible that can be. So it says inserted multiplication. If I come here within where it says multiplication, if I come there and just change that to cost total, within that double quotation marks. Yeah, cost total. Okay, and I'm just going to press enter for that. And we see it changed that for us. Now, the difference between the two things the two ways I've changed the name of this is when I changed it within this formula bar, it didn't add an extra step. It didn't add that renamed column on here for us. But when I did the double clicking and changing from here, the first step, it added that extra step. So if you notice, what I did now was just a simple go into the formula and just type what I want, just change the name of what I want to change there. And remember how I said, we don't need to have an in-depth understanding of this query, but it's good to understand what's happening there so that we can manipulate it the way that we need to sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, you know. And how query is read. For example, what we've just done now is saying equals table dot add column. That is, an extra column was added, you know, number hash expanded products. So what is put after the hash sign here is just the last step that was here, this expanded products here. So it's telling us that on that last step that was done, cost total was brought in, and how that was gotten was that each of the quantity was multiplied by the cost, and the data type is currency type, you know. So if one understands how to read it like that, then being able to manipulate it around becomes a little easy. And it's not compulsory, but it's just like an added advantage. Do we have any question at this point at all? Or we can go on? Any question? If there are no questions, I'm just going to close and apply that. Whilst we wait for that, for the changes to be brought in. Okay, so that has been brought in, and I'm going to save. Because Power BI doesn't have auto save, it's always good to save as you go, so that you don't lose any unsaved work in case, you know, anything hangs or your computer just dies or anything. At least you would have saved the last step so that you don't have to redo whatever it was that you did before, you know. So now we've got everything I believe that we need within the sales data. We already calculated our total sales, which we did by using DAX. DAX, DAX, X for xylophone, and DAX stands for data analysis expression. It's just a language that is used for calculations within Power BI. So all we did was that we said total sales equals sum all of what we have in sales data for us, you know, and it summed the whole sales column together to give us this amount, basically. Okay. I'm going to take out this column 1 because it's not useful. It's not adding any value, you know, and we can't really convert it or whatever. So, and I'm going to add a few more measures that we need. We need the total cost now. We can bring that in and you know, just do total cost. So I'm just gonna say sum, and we need to sum sales data cost total now. Sales data cost total, this one, that's the one that we need to sum up, because that already factors in the quantities of the products that were bought. That's why we are using that one. Okay, I'm just going to copy this, and so that we can reuse this and paste. And just to validate that total cost is correct, while we are here, I'm going to take that out and put total cost in. Let's see. Okay, we can see that this was the total sales. This was the total cost. Okay, so it's looking good. Then we can calculate our profit. which would be total sales minus total cost. You can call that total profit if you like as well, it doesn't matter. Total sales minus total cost. Now, what we are doing is, at this point, as we calculate our profit, we are reusing the measures that we created. You know, we created those measures, now we are using them to create new measures. There's a name for it, which I've forgotten. Maybe measure branching or something, I'm not too sure, you know. And our measures, I should have mentioned this. How you know a calculation is a measure is this calculator signs or symbols that you have in front of them. That shows you that this is a measure, you know. And these summation signs here are just telling us that these are numbers that are addable, you know, that can be summed basically. That's what that is. Sales, I believe sales was how did we get sales? Was it by calculated? No, it's not by calculated column. I can't remember what this stands for. We'll look through and see why that symbol is different.
It was a new column.
It's a new column, right? But
Yeah.
remember that cost total was a new column as well, wasn't it? How did we get sales there?
So we multiplied quantity by price, but
Right.
we use new column. So I think that's the symbol for a new column.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks very much for that. I'm just gonna okay that enter that we have the profit. Again, let's see. I'm going to copy and paste this, and then we can use that same card to get our profit out. It's not really looking good just yet, but we've not gotten to the point, you know, where all the beautifications and stuff would happen. Okay. So again, it's always good to get the calculator out. I'm sure it's right, but no. Check those two away and see that, be sure that this is actually what we should be having, you know. I think there was profit margin that was gotten as well, you know. So let's see profit margin as a measure. I think profit margin is we divide profit by sales. Not too sure.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And you multiply by 100.
By 100, yeah, okay. Thank you. So profits divide. So there's two ways you can do your division. You can decide to say profits, which is this, divided by, you know, that by sales, total sales. You know, there's nothing wrong in you know, using that method, other than the fact that sometimes, you know, when you divide by 0 or something, and you get some funny number, this way of dividing does not take care of things for you, you know. Maybe when you do 0 divided by a number or a number divided by 0, you get some infinite number. I can't remember which way around, you know. So this way of dividing is not always the best. And that's why we are going to use the actual divide. There's a divide function, you know, actual divide function. And it's asking for the numerator, which is the profit, the one on top, you know. So I'll go for that, comma, then the one below, total sales. So how it takes care of the 0 error, if there was a 0, is there's an alternate result. So it's giving us a third argument where we can say, if this is not dividable, it's not dividing right, bring a 0. Okay, we just use that to take care of that zero problem that could occur, that has the potential to occur. Again, you notice that just trying to show us something here. We notice that immediately we start to type in. Actually, let me start again. Divide, it brings this dialog box here where it's showing you what to input. So it's like a guide, okay, to tell us what should we input first, then with a comma after that, what should we input next, just like you would have it in Excel, So it's always handy to use that in case there's any form of confusion that could occur. But yeah. Okay. So, but rather than use the divide by 100 because it's in percentage anyway, I'm just going to, while this is still highlighted, I'm just going to use the percent here. And that takes care of the divide by 100 bit for us. Because yeah, profit margin is normally presented as a percentage. Now let's see what that looks like as well. I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste that so that we can reuse it. Take this out and bring the profit margin in. And there we have it. If I don't want the decimal, the two decimal places, I can always take it out, here and get it to 0. Or just type it in if it's been troublesome. Okay, there we go. So 48% is so we can see the information provided for us here. It's telling us the name of the table is the measure is profit margin. Is the home table for it is in key calculations. If I want it to not be within this folder, I want to move it to another folder, I can always do that here. The format of it, the data type is in percentage. And
David, that number is wrong.
Sir?
That 48% is wrong. It should be total profit divided by total sales, not cost.
Oh, what did I use? Total cost. Sorry.
Yeah.
I meant to use sales. Thank you very much for that, sir. Yeah, there we go. Yes, it should be total sales, not cost. Right. Thanks for that correction. So we have our KPIs. Basically, yeah, these are the key performance indicators for a business like this. This is what they will show for the period of time that they worked with this data, which was between 2018 to 2020, I believe, in that data set. This is as much as they've got to show. Thank you very much for that reminder. So we've got total cost. It depends on how you want to tell this story. If you want to tell it from, actually, there's one last one that we should put, the quantity of products. It would be nice to actually have the total quantity of products in terms of number that was sold as well.
Yeah, quantity sold.
Yes. So let's put that in as the last calculation for today. So total quantity. So total quantity equals, should we say sum? We are summing the quantity, isn't it? The sales data quantity. Sales data Q.
Yeah.
Q, yeah, there we have it.
So
if you want to count the number of orders, that was placed as well, you can count the number of rows within that or just distinct count the order ID, because for each order that was placed, there's an ID that was generated. So we can just use distinct count to count the order ID if it's required. I don't think we need it, you know, but if you want to show that as well, that this is number of orders that generated, you know, all of these figures, you know, for us. I think it would be nice to have in there as well. So we are trying to get our Power BI to this point. Do we have anyone who's gone beyond what we saw yesterday, or who has kickstarted their work at all in any format?